Hey, hi there, guys. Warren here. How are you guys doing out there? So today I want to talk about. Actually, first let me pose it in a question. Have you ever reached a goal, and once you got there, you just felt like okay? You kind of realize that I still feel the same. Or is that just me? And I don't think it's just me. It's not all of us, but I don't think it's just me. And that's what I want to talk about is the arrival fallacy, the belief that happiness is on the other side of something. Again, just me, because I'm sure it's not just me that's done that. And I did it with college, and I'll use college because I am sure it's probably most relatable, or one of the most relatable. It was, I will get an undergraduate degree. Period. The end. That will happen. It must happen. Burn the midnight candle on both ends like everyone else. Nothing is unique. And it happened. And then I got there and it's like, okay, that happened. Now what? And then that became, now pursue a master's degree. And I did that. And then it was the same thing. Now what? The point is, the arrival fallacy will stop us from truly living in the present, in that messy middle that I like to call it. I mean, and you hear it in so many things. When I lose the weight, when I get that job, when I finish this degree, when I retire. Let me see if I can think of a few more that I know I've heard. When I move from this location and this house. But I mean, like I said, it's not just me. When life calms down, good luck with that, because I am here to tell you that that one in particular, that ship has sailed in terms of life calming down. But I just gave you some examples of some of them, but we all use them, and what it's doing, what it is that the brain doesn't celebrate arrival. Imagine that. It doesn't celebrate arrival. It almost seems like what it does instead is, as soon as you arrive, it just moves the goalpost a little further. And it's primarily ambitious people that go through this. And I'm not overly ambitious. At least I don't think so. But it's mainly ambitious people. They're not the only ones, but they're, how should I, chronic. They're chronic. The chase feels better than the catch. Pardon the interruption. The roofers are working next door, and I thought I had them timed right, but it is what it is at this point. But I hope you can actually hear the key points of our chat. But yeah, the chase feels better than the catch. The messy middle felt better. You know, the process of getting to these goals felt better than when we got there. The question is, why is that? It's the dopamine hit. The buildup feels electric. I mean, think about that, right? Whatever the thing is, I used college as an example. You can think of any example you want, but that buildup when you're thinking about it, when you're planning it in your head, you were on fire to the point of obsession, some of us. And here's the thing, and I'm going to get to it in more detail later, but that obsession is what I alluded to in the beginning about not living. We're obsessed. And often nothing people say or do can change that. And we're always anxious and on edge because we live in a state of anticipation. Happiness is just on the other side of this class. Just on the other side of this last 5 pounds. Just on the other side of my retirement ceremony. Anticipation. Never having a chance to be present and live in the now. And when we think it's spiraling out of control, we lie to ourselves and find this will fix it, whatever this is, but we find something to justify staying in the fight. This will fix it. Maybe this is another cup of nasty, dark, black, almost oil-like Army DFAC dining facility coffee. This will fix it. And it's a lie, but it worked because it did fix it. Not that it's healthy, but you stayed up and you got it done. But after all of that, then you arrive and you're like, oh, that's it? Really? This? All that? And then the brain goes, well, not satisfied. Here's the next thing. I so don't mean to laugh, but I'm picturing my younger self doing that. Because the dopamine is in the pursuit, not the possession. A lot of people mistake that and think the dopamine comes after. Nope, it comes before. And then after that, it's just another before. And another before. It's kind of like a spark plug. Oof. Oof. Ay, 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 ay. But there's a hidden cost, though. There's a hidden cost. And I've said it a few times now and alluded to it, but seriously, it precludes us, stops us, enslaves us to not live in. We delay our lives because we're living in this anticipatory mindset that happiness will come later. We postpone living. And here's the thing about that. The later isn't guaranteed. The Stoics would, because we're obsessing, sometimes catastrophizing in our own heads about things we have absolutely no control over and things that just may not work out as planned. Like in the military, we'll tell you that the minute you step off, plan A goes out the window. And it's often your best plan. But the minute you step off or pull off or fly off, whatever your mission is and whatever your specialty is, the minute, militarily anyway, that's our belief, and often we're correct. The minute you step off, plan A goes out the window. And you hear this in people's language. I'll give you more examples like I did the other ones. You hear it in people's language, like, I'll start when. When what? That's the next question you honestly should ask yourself, right? Right after you say, I will start when, the next thing in your head should be a when what? Once things settle down. What things? Because the ones you have control over, I would hope you have already controlled them and they've already settled down. So you're probably talking about, and again, I'm picking on you, but I'm talking about me because I went through this. The ones we're talking about are the ones that are external, that we have absolutely no control over. But we think, I'll be happier when they settle down. After I get through this. I don't know how many times I've used that one. After I get through this. And then after this becomes 10 years, 15 years, 30 years. The thing is, the arrival fallacy just turns our lives into waiting rooms. Waiting on what? When the thing I don't know how it's going to turn out, turns out. I mean, just the irony in that alone. When the thing that I don't know how it's going to turn out, turns out, then I will be happy and then I'll start living. But it's our human condition. It's how we're wired. There's nothing really wrong with us. We're just wired that way. But we can right the ship, though. It's almost musical. We can right the ship. How, you say? Well, if we start by changing the word arrival to alignment. At least that's what I did. Instead of asking, say, have I arrived or did I arrive? We can change that, change our perspective. If nothing else, if not to see others' realities, to see our own. But am I becoming who I respect? And this one was one of the major reasons I retired. Am I becoming more present than I was? And the answer, for me anyway, was yes. Makes you more honest with yourself. Am I becoming more honest than I was? with myself and with others? And the answer is yes. And you will too. You will too. And something we tend to forget when we are in that arrival fallacy is, or something we might put on the table as negotiable to reach these goals, to be happier, are our values. So one of the questions you could ask yourself in changing from arrival to alignment is, am I still aligned with my values, not the values of the groupthink society, but my values, and not what society says they should be, but what I believe them to be. I've honed them that way all this time to be. But the arrival fallacy cheats us. Robs us. Because I started to right my ship in 2015. I've done other episodes where I've talked about that. When did I turn the corner, per se? And for me, it was 2015. But point is, it's never too late, because to start living, and sometimes when you hear that term, start living, people think it's some exuberant, exaggerated way of, all of the things you've dreamt all at once. No, not the case. At least I don't think so. Just living more mindful and meaningful, purposeful. And just be ready to flex. Be ready to flex. Don't be so locked in on that one thing, right? Because the messy middle is going to change. Life is going to change. Your goals might change. And they will change. The only things I would hope is whatever your life's mission statement is, that and your purpose shouldn't change. The way you get to them will, but they won't. But the path to them will. Enjoy the messy middle, man. It's where we get tested, Enjoy the messy middle. In everything, not just that one thing, in everything. Build the life. Set goals. Indeed. But live. Live. Be happier in that messy middle. And I say that to go back to something I said earlier, right? That it's like the universe, as soon as you get there, it moves the goalpost. So you might as well live. Because arrival is a moving target. If the universe is going to move the goalpost, then that's a moving target. So within all the yards to get there, whenever that is. And that doesn't mean to continue to just keep chasing either. There is a stopping point, and you have to find out where that is so you can enjoy your later years. Live through the messy middle to get to this goal or these goals, and then cut it off and enjoy, as they call it, your golden years. Our golden years. But arrival is a moving target. And dopamine doesn't come after, it's before. And that's why when we keep doing that, as soon as it sees it, spark plug. Another explosion, another goal met. And now what? Happiness is on that other side of this other thing. And often it's also because we haven't defined what happiness is for us. Because by now, if you are regular to the channel, you know that I've said, and I copied it from Dr. Arthur Brooks, Mr. Happiness Man, I call him, happiness is not a destination. It's all about choices, kind of like skills that you have to hone and work on every day. So it's not a destination. So if it's not a destination and the end goal is to be happier, because happy is kind of like our goals, it too moves. So the key is to just live happier, right? But it's not a destination. And if these goals are part of what we define as our happiness, then in the process of getting happier, you have to find balance. Balance, balance, balance. So we don't keep saying, right after this, just after these 5 pounds, right after this degree, but yeah, even the learning is a good part of that messy middle. Because the minute you stop learning, you die. Anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about today. Thanks for hanging out and listening to my rant. And be good out there. And until our next conversation, you take care.